Using the tools I have shown, I'll be showing a time lapse of how I completed a basic character from the head, hair, torso, legs, hands and clothing. Hopefully this can give you some ideas on how to complete these various areas. So as you can see, this is the foundation I'm working from. It has the base shapes of the head laid out so I can refine these and then sculpt in more and more details. I'm mainly using clay build-up, move topology and dam standard, which are the main three brushes you'll use, and I follow the same steps as shown previously in order to complete the head and hair, with a lot more time refining. Now the thing with sculpting, especially for your first time, is that it just takes a lot of time and effort. It's not something you could do straight away, which is why I need to have a time lapse instead of just going through each step individually. Now, in order to achieve more and more detail, if need be, use the divide tool, which will give you more polygons to work with. This way you can get nice detail with dam standard. Now for the hair, this is the exact same method as before. For the torso of the character, I find it easier to draw in the shapes or body parts and then build up from them. As you can see, I sketched in the outline of the muscles and then filled them in with clay build up. I just used multiple layers of strokes on each area to build them up, which also made them look like muscle fibers. Now here I just added in a necklace to cover up the seam from the neck to the head. For the hands, I decided to convert the mitten style hands into fingers, as I wanted to have the fingers incorporated into our motion capture. So to do this, I delete the area where the fingers would be using the mask, and then I close the holes to give me a flat surface. I then use the mask pen to draw circles where each of the fingers would be and extruded from them, retopologizing to clean up the topology. From here I just tweaked how the fingers sat, but using the move topology brush, I'm masking each finger segment and rotating to get an idea of where each finger would rest. Once you're satisfied, you can add in the fingernails and any other small details onto the hand by using dam standard. To cover the seams, you would just need to have an object between your subtools to hide them. Otherwise they would bake through and would look like tears in the texture map. You can either insert a shape and sculpt it into whatever you want, or you could extract the area and have that as your shape. Here are a couple of examples of ways I used objects to cover the seams. So as you can see, on one hand I've got a bandage sort of shape, then on the other hand I've got a watch, which are two basic ideas you could use. You could really do anything, especially if you have like a long sleeve t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt. Those would work as covering it as well. So these were both done using the extract tool, which I'll demonstrate in the next clip, but they can be done with any method, especially inserting shapes and just manipulating those. The extract tool was done as follows. Mask the area you want to extract. Go to subtool and then hit extract. Select double to have it double-sided. Hit extract, then hit accept. Now if you don't hit accept, it will just show you a preview of what it looks like, and then it will remove it as soon as you try to move your character. Now depending on what you're trying to create, you can adjust certain settings such as the thickness, which is very useful for creating different types of elements. The clothing was done using the extract tool. Because my character was very muscly, I had to use a smooth tool to get rid of all of the details. I then created some bagginess and some overflow. I also used a standard brush to try and add some creases into it to give it some deformity. Now if you want to add stitching to your clothing, you can easily do that by going into brushes and going into IMM curve. Now these are a bunch of elements which you can just drag onto your asset. Essentially you would drag out a spline and any of these elements would be repeated along that spline. So for this case I used stitching. Now the shorts are the exact same as the t-shirt. Here I just try to make them baggy, make them look loose. Again, use a standard brush to try and add some creases. And finally we're on to the shoes. Shoes don't really require much explanation. I'm just using the foot block-up that I had to just bulk up and expand upon it. To build on these, I'm just masking and extruding. I'm not wasting too much time doing clay build-up because then you'll be painting a lot of strokes. Just get big bulky shapes in. I'm also using the flatten brush in order to get the hard lines at the bottom. And I use clay build-up just to get the shape of the laces in.